Oil crisis. Strait of Hormuz frozen. Prices skyrocket past $100. Imagine filling up your tank tomorrow and seeing $6, $7, even $8 per gallon at the pump. That's not some distant nightmare, it's happening right now. Oil prices have exploded past $100 per barrel despite the largest ever release of global strategic reserves. All because the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical oil choke point, has ground shipping to a halt. Buckle up, because this geopolitical earthquake is shaking markets, threatening economies, and pulling superpowers into a dangerous standoff. The historic surge no one saw coming. Oil didn't just rise, it rocketed. Brent crude smashed through $100, hitting levels not seen since the darkest days of past energy crises. West Texas Intermediate followed suit, surging over 12% in a single day. What's insane? This happened after the US, Europe, China, and others tapped a record 180 million barrels from strategic reserves in a desperate bid to flood the market and cool prices. But here's the kicker. It backfired spectacularly. Instead of calming markets, the release signaled panic. Traders saw it as a white flag. Governments admitting supply lines are severed. It's like trying to put out a forest fire with a garden hose. One analyst quipped, reserves bought a few weeks of breathing room, but with Hormuz frozen, the world is staring down a supply cliff. Strait of Hormuz, the 21-mile fuse. Picture this, a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman, just 21 miles wide at its narrowest, funneling 1/5 of the world's oil, 20 million barrels daily. That's enough to heat homes, power factories, and fuel jets across the planet. Now imagine that artery clogged shut. Reports confirm massive disruptions. Iranian forces have imposed a shipping freeze, boarding tankers, seizing cargoes, and turning back dozens of vessels. Gulf News calls it a chokehold on global supply. Satellite imagery shows a ghost fleet, over 50 supertankers idling offshore. Refused entry, from Qatar's massive fields to Saudi Arabia's giants. The black gold can't get out. Why now? Tensions boiled over after escalating clashes between Iran and US allies in the Gulf. Drones downed, warships shadowed, and proxy militias firing missiles. Iran flexed. Any threat to our waters means no oil for anyone. It's not a blockade yet, but its close insurance rates for tankers have spiked 500%, making voyages suicidal. Why reserves failed? A global miscalculation. World leaders patted themselves on the back for the reserve dump. President Trump, fresh off his 2025 inauguration, coordinated with Europe and Asia. We're unleashing American might to stabilize energy. Biden-era stockpiles, plus allies' caches, hit the market hard, but demand outpaced the band-aid. China, guzzling 15 million barrels a day for its factories, bid aggressively. Europe, weaning off Russian gas, scrambled. US refiners face shortages, halting production. The result? Prices leaped higher. MSN reports supply fears persist as reserves dwindle. America's SPR is now at 40-year lows. Unique angle. This isn't 1973's Arab embargo or 2022's Ukraine shock. Reserves worked then because pipelines flowed. Today, Hormuz's freeze creates a physical wall. It's like draining your savings while your house burns. Temporary relief, but the fire rages. Geopolitical firestorm. Who's pulling the strings? Iran's not acting alone. Backed by Russia and China, Tehran sees this as payback. Moscow, swimming in oil profits from Ukraine sanctions evasion, cheers the chaos. Beijing, securing discounted Iranian crude via shadowy deals, gains leverage over the West. US response. Carrier group steaming in. F-35s overhead. Trump warned, Iran will pay dearly. Allies like Saudi Arabia and UAE demand protection, fearing attacks on their facilities. Israel whispers of preemptive strikes. One leaked Pentagon memo. Hormuz closure risks World War III light. Domino effect. OPEC Plus emergency talks collapsed. Russia vetoed production hikes. Saudi slashed output to hike prices. Profiting billions. The unique twist. Crypto markets are booming as digital gold. Bitcoin hit $120,000 as investors flee fiat tied to oil. Economic tsunami hits home, your wallet feels it first. Gas prices in the US average $5.20 gallon, up 40% in days. Truckers park rigs, shelves empty in weeks. Airlines ground flights. JetBlue cuts 10% capacity. Inflation. Forget 3%, analysts predict 7 to 9% as energy ripples through food, plastics, everything. Global pain. Europe's factories idle. Blackouts loom. India's diesel crisis all strains. China's growth stalls at 3%. Developing nations like Pakistan face $10 barrel import hikes, sparking riots. Corporate carnage. Exxon surges 15% on high prices. But Tesla dives as if dreams fade. Airlines burn $1 billion daily. Walmart warns of price hikes on 5,000 goods. Winners and losers in the chaos. Winners. US show drillers ramp up, Texas output hits records. Russia rakes $200 billion extra revenue. Renewables get a boost. Solar stocks pop 20%. Losers. Importers like Japan. South Korea recessions inbound. Consumer giants. PepsiCo flags to $1 billion hit. Unique point. Oil. Warriors emerge. Hedge funds shorting airlines, longing drillers. Print billions. Billionaire speculators like the new Hormuz hedges funds. Escalation scenarios. What happens next? Scenario 1. De-escalation. Back-channel talks via Oman. Iran eases freeze for sanctions relief. Prices dip to $80. Likelihood, 30%. Scenario 2. Stalemate. Hormuz partial reopen. But convoys guarded. $110 oil lingers. 50% chance. Scenario 3. Hot war. US strikes Iranian. Ports full closure. $150 plus oil. Global recession. 20% but rising. Pentagon Sims. 30-day closure costs $5 trillion globally. Trump's team weighs Operation Desert Flow. Clearing the strait by force. The bigger picture. End of cheap energy era. This isn't a blip. It's a pivot. Post-Hormuz. Nations hoard reserves. US fast-tracks drilling permits. Europe begs Africa for LNG. China eyes. Venezuela. Climate irony. Fossil desperation delays green transition. EVs. Forget it when gas is king. Call to action. Stock non-perishables. Diversify energy. Watch your portfolio. This freeze tests resilience.